Hey Karen, I have a great team. They are spread out all over the world. I wouldn't say we have a trust issue, but I would love to find some ways to increase the trust on our team. What should I do? Asking for a friend. Hi, I'm Karin Hurt, and I'm here with our next edition of Asking for a Friend from the road, and we're going to go on a road trip. I'm doing a keynote in Virginia, and I'm driving down the day before, and so we'll talk about this along the way, along with my Courage ladies. So if you've been hanging around Asking for a Friend or Let's Grow Leaders for a minute, you know how we've been talking about how so much of the trust research really comes down to 4 key questions. Are you credible? Are we connected? Are you reliable? And do you have my best interest at heart? So as you're taking the trust of your team and you're really working to accelerate that, particularly in a remote team, these are 4 foundational areas you can think of as well. So let's start with, are you credible? Does every member of your team have an opportunity to showcase their strengths, to talk about their skills, to share their backgrounds? Because sometimes that doesn't happen so naturally when you're working remotely. So give people a deliberate space to share their expertise, and make sure there's an opportunity for people to show up curious and to learn about that from one another. That is one easy way to accelerate trust on the team, because everyone wants to work on a team where they feel seen for what they bring to the table, and they feel like they're working with others who have strong expertise. So that's the first one. And of course, connection. When you're dealing with a remote team, that is so important to be deliberate about doing that. I'm going to put a link to some compassionate conversation starters that are a really easy way to build the connection and build the trust on a remote team as a starting point. I'm not going to linger there. You know that's so critical. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, reliability can be a huge one for building trust, particularly in a global team where people have different cultural expectations and asynchronous work times. So making time to carve out and have conversations about what are our expectations, what are our expectations for response times, and really critically, what are the norms? How will we hold one another accountable if expectations are not being met? And to have the conversation before the conflicts arise can be really critical. Okay, we've been talking about credibility, connection, reliability, and we've got one more. So this final one is the most important, and of course it's the most tricky when you don't really know one another as a team. Do you have my best interest at heart? Again, this is having an opportunity to spend time to talk about your intentions, to talk about your most important things, to talk about what matters to you in your life outside of work, and having those conversations about how you can best support one another. So the other ones are an easy starting point. Talk about your credibility and your expertise you're bringing into the business, building time to have that human-to-human connection, establishing norms about being reliable, and then having the deeper conversations about intent, and so you can continue to support one another. So where I would start is where you see their biggest opportunity. Maybe you've already spent a lot of time talking about connection, but establishing the norms for reliability is an opportunity. Or maybe you haven't really taken a step back to talk about the expertise of the team. So start where you are. That's a few of my thoughts. I'm very curious for the rest of the LinkedIn community. What would you add?